What is going up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to recap. Fortunately, I hoped this video was going to turn out differently than it did, but it's not going to. Last weekend, I fished the Big Bass Bash with my buddy Matt, some family, Josh and Nolan. We decided to take Josh and Nolan. Were nice enough to take their RV down. We got a campsite. We took two boats. Matt and I fished out of my boat. Josh and Nolan fished out of theirs. And we really wanted to cash a check so bad down there. This would be the third time we fished it in the spring, and we still have yet to cash a check. Weather was supposed to be like amazing about a week and a half out, and then the closer it got, the more chances of a cold front, nastier weather, which we ended up kind of getting, moved in. So I think that kind of hurt us a little bit. So I don't know. I'm just going to give a little rundown of it and tell you all the things we did, what worked, what didn't work, what we're going to do next time if we go again. I still really enjoyed it. I had a good time down there. I always have fun fishing down there. It was really neat. Real busy. Once again, I mean, there's always so many. You get like, I don't know the exact numbers, but over 3,000 people signed up, 1,500 plus boats out there, all scattered across the whole lake. It's going to be busy no matter where you go. You're never fishing alone, for sure. So anyway, this is going to be my quick rundown of it, and I will show you some of the film that I got, or all the film that I got, I should say. First time this also has happened to me as well. Took two GoPros down with me, filmed a lot of like day before stuff, practice type of thing on it, and then I let Matt wear that one first day, Saturday, and it was acting a little funky, and sure enough, lost the memory card, went bad, lost the footage from it. So I don't have as much stuff as I wish I would have to show you, but we're going to make the best out of it. We're going to do what we can. So, anyway. So Friday morning we went down, went to the campsite, dropped both boats off, got everything situated, went to PP2, boat ramp down there, and got our goodie bag. We all pre-registered, so you just have to go there, wait in line. All 3 years it's been like over 40 minutes waiting in line to get your goodie bag and stuff, get signed up. They have vendors down there. It's usually pretty kind of neat, pretty kind of nice place. Couple things going on down there. I don't know. So you go through there, you get your little goodie bag. It's kind of worth it to go through there. A lot of times there's some snacks and stuff in there. T-shirt usually is included. Got a new hand towel for the boat, stuff like that. Then after that, we ran, got a little bite to eat, and we went and got out on the lake and wanted to do some checking on some stuff. Found several coves close to where we were staying at that I felt pretty confident in. I thought we was going to be able to catch some fish in. Did some side scanning, found a lot of bait and fish in the area, threw the live scope down a little bit. Casted a few lures around. Really didn't want to hook a big one. I mean, that was always like, that's the scare, right? You get your fish for the weekend or something the day before. But live scope really helped me be able to look and see if there's fish around. I threw a jerkbait around just to see if I could get some to kind of react, come out, swim out, come look at it. It was pretty windy that day, so that kind of hurt a little bit, but I made most of it, and I felt like we had a pretty good game plan going into the first day. And then the first day happened, and found out we didn't. I don't know. Went to those areas that we found, fished really hard through all the stuff, through the normal stuff. Matt he was a trooper. He threw a Carolina rig a lot that weekend. He caught a handful of fish on it all weekend. I threw a little bit of everything. Threw a big swim bait, threw several different types of jigs, threw a Texas worm a lot, threw a shaky head quite a bit, threw a spinner bait quite a bit in the right areas, and we just couldn't figure it out. Couldn't get bit. The only little bit of luck and success that we did had seemed to be like behind the dock cables. I felt like we were getting a lot of bites. But we had a big cold front move through, and I really didn't think the bedfish deal was going to play. I just really didn't. They had several big tournaments 2 weeks prior to that down there, and they were weighing a lot of bags, but looking through some of those pictures, like none of the tails were bloody. I really didn't think they would be on the bed yet. Moon was coming in later the next week. I just really didn't think that was going to be the deal and what to focus on. And looking back now, I kind of wish we would have. But anyway, I got bit several times on a Texas rig. Fish would come over, you feel that thump, and you see the line just swim away, and you swing at them, and you get half your bait back. They're grabbing it all just right behind the hook. Clearly could have been small fish too. Could have been some bluegill in some circumstances, but you go and you do that enough, and I don't see any other bluegill up on the bank. I feel like a lot of it were bass protected in bed. That was almost real good too, wasn't it? There we go. That's the shit I want.
That was a good one there, buddy.
Oh my god, I got a fish. He took my worm.
Do it again.
He was behind the cables. It's gonna be a bad day if they're behind every freaking dock cable like that.
What's that?
It's gonna be a bad day if they're behind every freaking dock cable like that.
They're smart fish, bro.
Well, that'd be a really good protected place, and you look at everybody that's fished, ain't nobody casted that back in there. And so that's just what we dealt with. Ran around, kind of ran through 2 or 3 of our coves. Didn't really have much going on. Fished with a lot of people. Our starting spot in the morning, we had a guy roll up and was real nice about it. And he was just like, "Hey, I wanted to start here too. Do you mind if we will start here? I'll go left, you go right," type of deal. I ended up kind of letting him have the point, but it's just kind of what you got to do with that those situations. Things like that. It's just such a lottery. It's a lottery tournament. It's really like you're looking for just a couple big fish that weekend. I have yet to go down there and fish it and catch a lot of fish. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I sure could be, but it's just not. To me, in my mind, the amount of fishing pressure and the amount of people throwing baits and the amount of people you're just not. You're not going to get it to a place that somebody else hasn't fished a lot of the time. You're really hoping and praying that there was a fish there that didn't bite somebody else's that decides that whatever you're throwing is just a little bit different, and it's what they wanted that day. So it's kind of a tough deal, and it's a lot more luck-based than I want to give it credit for, but I really believe it is. So Matt and I fished through most of our stuff. We got out on a main lake point after getting quite a few bites behind cables in a few coves, a few areas. Just certain sections of the coves too. I felt like we're the only ones I was getting most bites in. Trying to mimic that a little bit, but couldn't really get up on a pattern, and we just weren't catching fish. I'll be flat honest, and I threw it all. I threw brush hogs, I threw different brand variations of brush hogs, threw lizards, threw all the stuff on Texas rig that I'm used to throwing in the springtime when they're spawning, and just wasn't having luck. Wasn't getting stuff to fully commit, not totally eating the bait. Got out on the main lake. Started hopping around on some main lake points that weren't super deep, and I finally ran into one, which I'm sure you're going to see that clip now. Got one, Matt.
Good one?
I can't tell. Yep.
Nice.
It ain't gonna win a check, but it's a freaking fish finally. But Matt caught one right then too, same place, and keep it going. It ain't that big, but keep it down, keep it down.
That's not as big as I thought.
No, but that's all right. It's good practice. We're catching fish. Hit the button.
Way out there, bro.
Yeah, I saw you throw. And that was really about it for the first day. Josh and Nolan kind of called an audible, if you will. Then they ran new water that afternoon, and when we got back to the hotel, we got back to the ramp. Not the hotel, we got back to the campground, whatever. When we got back that night, they started talking to us, and they had a lot better success than we did. I think Nolan caught like 5 or 6 fish that day, all on a fluke of all things. Josh said he had a really nice one, bite a spinnerbait, just couldn't keep him pegged. And so we decided the next day we were going to try to run and go to the same kind of water that they did. And it was a long ride from where we were at, I'll be honest. We were fishing like 13, 14 miles away from the area that we had fished. And for me and my boat, that was the longest trip it's ever made with me driving it. I can tell you that. But we ran up there for the second day and was hoping kind of the area was just going to be what it was. And the second day we had a lot of wind, a lot more wind. Super bluebird day. I guess that's a high pressure day, I think. But bluebird skies, a lot of wind, a lot colder than it had been. Just really made fishing tough. Matt catches one on the first cast, second day. First cast, I'm running late. Matt hooked one. Burned what we did all day yesterday. So, your intro for day 2. And I'm talking quiet because there's a bunch of people in this cove. Intro for day 2 is yesterday sucked. Today has to be better. And then after that, I'm going to call it the bad luck set in. We fished our butts off, threw everything under the sun, and just really couldn't capitalize. I felt like we were in better areas, better water that day, and we just couldn't get it done. I think I caught a fish the second day. I might not. Oh, yes, I finally did. Last 3 or 4 hours of the day, I kind of just went back to everything I know how. I quit doing what I thought I should do, and I started chucking a crankbait. And I found a couple of coves with the right kind of bank and the right kind of rock for me to throw a wigglewort or a rock crawler. And so I chucked that for a little bit, and I ended up catching, I'm pretty sure it was a meanmouth, like a spotted bass, largemouth mix, cross, whatever, hybrid. What's the matter, man?
What?
So what's the matter, man?
Hit a wall for a minute.
You can't be tired.
Hit a wall for a minute.
That's a mean mouth, dude. That's actually really cool. That's a spot in a largemouth mix. Which was really cool. But that was it. That was the whole day. And I won't lie, it sucked. I was really, really upset that we didn't catch a check. But that's fishing, that's tournament fishing especially. And especially on a deal like that when it's so big, that's just how it goes, I think. Listening to the weigh-in on the way back, It was pretty spotty. Their internet wasn't the greatest. The live stream wasn't super smooth, but catching bits and pieces of it. The people that won it, I mean, they did all the same stuff we did, right? And I believe every one of them that cashed one of the top 4 checks has said they had fished it for at least like 6 years. And most of them fished spring and fall for 6 years and never cashed a check. So it just kind of goes to show you, obviously, the textbook techniques work, especially at that lake. And it's a pretty well-known lake. Gets fished a lot. It's not that hard to figure out kind of what people throw at certain times of the year. And, I mean, that's just how it goes. That's just is what it is. So, I don't know. The overall winner won at catching a bedfish. And I'm pretty sure you can find a link to the story, but I believe what he said in the interview was that other people had found that bedfish and fished for it the whole weekend. I assume they were buddies of his or something. I don't know. And they finally, somebody called him or told him about it, or he found out about it and ran over there and kind of got a little bit of history on how they had fished for it and what they had used. And he picked something different than what they had thrown for the whole weekend fishing for that fish and got it right at the end. Pretty cool story if it's true. It's pretty awesome. One of the other people caught one on a buzzbait down by PB2, which I'll be honest was going to be our original plan, was to be fishing down there. But with the low water, a lot of the ramps down that area were not usable. And so that threw a wrench in a lot of people's plans down there. A lot of people had to kind of scramble and figure out something else. Like us, I guess. So, anyway, somebody caught one on a buzzbait down that way. And then the other one come off of Carolina rig and with a brush hog on it, I think, off of Main Lake Point. Something we did a lot of. And then the other fish came off of a spinnerbait behind the dock. Once again, just stuff we threw all weekend long, places we threw all weekend long. It's just really it kind of comes down to a luck thing, I think. I believe in fishing pressure because of tournaments at moments like this where you feel like you should be able to catch a whole lot of fish doing anything, what you're doing, and you just don't. You can't run into them. I mean, if you ever... I still encourage everybody to fish. It's still a fun tournament, but if you go down there, you'll see people fishing a ton all day Thursday, all day Friday, boats everywhere, just getting hammered with fishing pressure. And then you have lots of big tournaments weekends before. I had another big tournament down there this weekend. I mean, it just... that it's just full of fishing pressure. I mean, it's full of fish too, but it's full of fishing pressure. And I think it affects fish a lot more than what a lot of people want to give it credit for. And I don't really know how to combat that or figure out how to catch them with that, but it's definitely something. It's a factor that you gotta look at, and it affects them. But still a great time. I'm really upset that I didn't have a lot better vlog type video for it because that was really what I wanted. I'm gonna try to do better on the next ones. I got, I think, 4 or 5 other tournaments I'm hoping to fish this weekend or this year. So I will for sure try to do a better job next time, and hopefully the memory card doesn't eat the footage like it did this time. So anyway, appreciate y'all watching. If you haven't, hit subscribe, hit the like button, set the hook on those two, and until next time, keep your hook sharp.